Welcome to this explainer, brought to you by Forge College. I am absolutely thrilled to have you back at the drafting table today as we dive into UI and user flows for lending and derivatives. So in our last session together, implementing deposit, borrow, and repay flows, we essentially built a high-powered, on-chain backend engine for our DeFi application. Honestly, it's an incredible piece of machinery. But today we're wiring that beast up to a brand new UI dashboard. Because, let's face it, having a massive V8 engine sitting on a workbench isn't all that fun if you don't have a steering wheel to actually drive the car, right? This module is a super vital step in our capstone for building a DeFi lending and derivatives application. So grab your schematics and let's get building. Okay, let's fly through our agenda for today. First, we'll cover why the engine needs a dashboard, then we'll design the UI blueprint, hit the AI iteration loop, map out our user flows, run through our checkpoints for success, and finally, get you ready for the capstone.
Section 1. The engine needs a dashboard. Let's take a look at how we actually connect that engine to the UI.
Like we were just talking about in our previous lessons, we built this seriously powerful engine with our SDK. It handles all that complex on-chain logic, idempotent transactions, those really pesky rent edge cases, but right now it's just sitting there. We need the dials, the shiny buttons, a React dashboard so a user can actually interact with it. The dashboard is where your user is going to enter their parameters, and it's where we get to render those beautiful yield metrics back to them.
And this brings us to the absolutely critical connection point, the wallet adapter. You really need to think of the wallet adapter as the ignition key. Your dashboard is the car, the SDK is the engine, but literally nothing starts until the user puts in the key and turns it. The wallet adapter bridges your React prototype to the Solana blockchain. It requests the user's signature to securely authorize and kick off those SDK transactions. Without it, we're basically just sitting in a parked car making engine noises with our mouths.
Section 2. Designing the UI blueprint. Let's move on and sketch out the exact React components we need. You know what's really cool here? It's how simple the front-end architecture can actually be. Our blueprint requires just 3 main React components. First, we have the wallet status, which handles your connection state. Basically, are you plugged in or not? Second is the action panel, where the user inputs their deposit or borrow amounts. And third, the positions view. That fetches your active balances and calculates your current APR. Just 3 clean, modular pieces of UI sitting right on top of our SDK.
Section 3. The AI iteration loop. This brings us to the really fun part, building these components fast by working smart.
Now, in a lot of the programs we teach at Forge College, we heavily emphasize working smart. We're going to use an AI-assisted workflow to build these React components. But there's a catch, right? How do we get our AI to actually write usable TypeScript code instead of generic garbage? Well, you have to think of your AI as a highly eager, incredibly fast, but terribly literal junior intern. If you just say, hey, build me a DeFi app, it's probably going to build you a toaster. You must be hyper-specific. So the secret sauce is how you prompt it. Your starter prompt has to be exact. Step 1, list your specific SDK methods, like sdk.deposit, and tell it you're working on devnet. Step 2, mandate the exact library you're using, like the Solana wallet adapter. Step 3, request compact React 18 files with inline comments that are ready for copy-pasting. You are setting really strict boundaries here, so the AI gives you exactly what fits into your existing architecture.
And once you have that generated code, whatever you do, don't just blindly trust it. You got to work in tight, fast iterations, scaffold, wire, test, and fix. Paste it in. You are definitely going to get TypeScript errors. That's totally normal. Instead of panicking when you see red squiggly lines, just feed that specific error, like property public key possibly undefined, right back to your literal intern and say, fix this specific line. Taking these small, testable steps is absolutely the secret to generating code without losing your mind.
Section 4. Mapping the user flow. Now we wire our dashboard buttons directly to the engine. So let's see how this maps to our actual user flows. It's a direct one-to-one mapping. When a user clicks deposit in the UI, it triggers the sdk.deposit call. That prompts the wallet for a signature, resulting in a transaction signature and updated positions on-chain. If they click borrow, it triggers sdk.borrow, and a loan is recorded. They click repay, it triggers sdk.repay and updates the balance. The user clicks a button, the SDK does all the heavy lifting, and we get an observable state change on the blockchain. Simple as that.
But here's something crucial we can't forget. We're building for human beings, and human beings tend to absolutely panic when it comes to money. The transaction lifecycle has to be highly visible over time. Look, at 0 seconds, they click. At 2 seconds, the wallet prompts them. At 5 seconds, they better see a pending spinner. And by 15 seconds, they need a confirmed transaction receipt. If you leave them sitting in the dark for 15 seconds, they will assume their funds vanished into the ether and aggressively click that button 5 more times. You have to show them the exact progression.
Section 5. Checkpoints for success. Let's test this flow before it spontaneously combusts.
Okay, here is your exact checklist for success. First, check that wiring. When I connect my wallet, that public key must show up in the UI within 1 second. Second, if a user rejects a signature, the app has to revert cleanly. We don't want any ghost states or stuck loading spinners. Third, double-check that you're pulling the correct yield fields from the SDK, like position.supply APY, so your math is actually right. And lastly, when the RPC fails, and believe me it will, show a friendly, recoverable error message, not a terrifying wall of dense console text.
And how do you know a test on DevNet was actually a success? Well, you'll look at the confirmed receipt and see the exact Lamports fee deducted. On Solana, a standard transaction fee is typically around 5,000 Lamports. So when you see that 5,000 deducted in your test logs, you can be super confident your engine and your dashboard are communicating perfectly with the blockchain.
Section 6. Ready for the capstone. Let's wrap up this drafting session and get our final deliverables together.
To officially pass this module and get prepared for the final integration guide, your blueprint has to yield these exact artifacts. You need 1 working copy of your React app prototype. You need 3 verified devnet transaction signatures. That's 1 for a deposit, 1 for a borrow, and 1 for a repay. You're going to need screenshots of your UI showing those updated positions. And finally, a short README detailing exactly how your UI maps to your SDK. Gather all that up, and congratulations, you've conquered the front end. As we close things out today, I really want you to take a hard look at your prototype and ask yourself this final question before you ship. Have you verified your transaction receipts and documented your precise UI to SDK mapping for the final capstone? Seriously, don't skip the documentation. It's exactly what separates a casual tinkerer from a true Web3 engineer. And remember, if you want to master more of these applied protocols, definitely jump over to forge.college to dive deeper into our community and explore more courses. So, you have the engine, and now you have the dashboard. The machine is fully running. The only question left is, what kind of groundbreaking financial primitive are you going to build with it next? Thanks for joining me at the drafting table today.